What's up, y'all? So, if y'all remember, I recently did a VIX update, and I talked about the possibility of VIX moving above 40. But what I've seen is that the time frame in which I um, made that uh, made that assessment, that pattern has been invalidated at this point. However, there's still some possibility on the weekly chart, but the price really has to get above this 30 about this 34 to 37 area. And as you can see, when it gets up there, it really sells off pretty hard. Um, but I'm gonna talk about that, but I'm also gonna just focus mainly on the possibilities that this week holds. If you're new here, welcome. On my channel, I talk about price action, and it doesn't necessarily have to be price action centered on the markets, but price action centered on companies, but price action centered on data as well. So I want you guys to really understand the importance of, not only understand the importance of charting the data, but hopefully you can be empowered by this information. So, for those of you that are returning viewers, thank you for your support. And if you guys have any tickers or anything you'd like for me to discuss, let me know in the comment section and I'll do that for you. Make sure you check out my latest course offering with By the Hood University called uh, it's called Price Action and Practical Psychology, but we also dubbed it God Charts and Shows How You. So you can go to chartsandpriceaction.com and check that out, as well as our other course offerings. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about VIX. So as far as the weekly chart is concerned on VIX, there is definitely still the possibility, more long term. And by long term, I mean, probably going out past the summer, there's a possibility for VIX to have a nice move up above 40. However, really, I want VIX to be able to sustain above 37, which, it has not been able to do that for quite some time. Um, like I said, every time it gets up here, it sells off. But that's still a possibility, but it's just, over a longer period of time now. Um, so I'm gonna keep an eye on that and provide updates as regularly as I can for you guys, as and for myself as well, because I do monitor VIX on a regular basis, as I navigate the markets, and I suggest that anyone involved in these markets should monitor VIX as well. So if you don't have VIX on your watch list, put it on there, so you can get into the habit of checking it every day, especially if you're a day trader. But anyway, what I'm seeing on VIX right now on the weekly chart is that it has moved back into this ascending channel from several weeks ago. So now we're waiting. I'm watching to see if VIX can beat this upper white trend line of the ascending channel. And this trend line should really be purple because I'm basing it off the weekly chart, but it's not. But just pretend it's purple. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what I'm seeing. But if it can't get above this trend line, then there's a possibility that VIX drops toward that $22 range again. But we'll see. But first off, I'd be watching to see if VIX can hold this 27 and a half price. Um, okay, so price may head toward. Okay, so Another thing that I'm watching for to the downside is to see if VIX is able to hold above 27 and a half. If not, I think there's a good possibility that VIX drops all the way down to 24 and maybe even down to 2020's closing price, which will put it right near this lower trend line of the ascending channel. But that's not the case right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. Series of lower highs over the past 3 weeks. Keep watching this week to see it keeps with that same um, if it keeps with that same energy. So let's take a look at the daily chart. Matter of fact, I want to look at the 4-hour chart because I want to keep this video short and sweet, to be honest with you. So what I'm seeing on the 4-hour chart, and I kind of started to mark this up before I did the video because I um, looked at VIX and I said, hey, let me do a quick update. But what I'm seeing on VIX right now, symmetrical triangle, and I think that VIX is going to make a move either above 32 or below 29, um, no later than Wednesday. Or Wednesday morning, that is. So I'll be watching that and possibly positioning accordingly. So I'm watching to see if this lower trend line holds, and you can see that right now as I make this video, VIX is breaching that trend line, but it doesn't mean that it's going to fall below it, but although it could. I think that if it does, it maybe falls down to that 27 and a half level. Now remember, when I talk about price action, I don't necessarily make predictions or anything like that. I just give a few hypotheses about, what I'm seeing in the price action because I like to train myself to try to remain as neutral as possible unless I see something that's just like clear cut, this is going this way. But even then, you can never be too sure. But anyway, like I said, this week I think VIX will either pop up above 32 or it's going to fall below 29 and maybe even on down to 27 and a half. At which point I'll be watching to see if it can hold that area. And if it pops up over 32, I'll be looking to see if it could get over that 33, 34 hump. I'll be watching the economic news and just the news period to see if there's any sort of catalyst that comes down the pipeline that could support um, VIX's price moving either way. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's VIX for the week for me. Um, Probably gonna see some tighter movement on VIX this week. Especially since the markets have been selling off for a few weeks now. That's not the market's usual movement. At some point it's gonna that selling's gonna taper off until either demand comes in or that increased supply comes in. So um, I just say keep your eyes and ears open for any type of news that supports, the markets having or any sort of catalyst that could have a significant impact on the markets to get these markets moving again. But that's pretty much it on VIX. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy Monday.